So let's go to Jacob versus Spam game. How much time do you have in the meantime, by the way?
Like I don't know, like at least an hour, I would say. It's how
Okay.
late I want to go to bed, I guess.
Okay,
It's a little bit.
so at least one we can cast. So we are going to Jacob versus Spam in Greenhorn tournament, and Jacob is playing balanced first Pancerna. That's unusual. That's pretty
Yeah,
unusual.
I feel especially Pancerna, they're a struggling division, and they're one thing that you should like. They have, I feel like, one trick that can make them decent, especially like if you do like a quick play, and that would be. Am I bugging out again? Can you hear
No,
me?
you're good. You're good.
Okay, sorry. Yes. So and that is that because the Cromwells are so fast and they have Shermans and Fireflies, they can do they can do the niche play of just doing like a fast rush with just spamming Cromwells, Shermans, and some Bofors like air and anti-air support like coming with them, and just overwhelm the enemy by just like shock value, and that is one way for them to win.
So
But this is that's not how you're playing. That's a Vanguard play, and it's a niche play, and I think that that's one of the best ways for the division to play because otherwise, I feel like the division struggles in many ways.
So let me
What
go
do you think?
through like my notes about the deck itself. First Pancerna and balanced. In my opinion, this is very good choice. This deck usually should be played or is played as Vanguard. Second thing, you are going very tank heavy. You filled all the tank tab. You have 60 tanks, and I understand that you are Vanguard, you are balanced, not Vanguard. But still, if you have so many tanks, upvet them. Upvet your Shermans. That you have more than enough to win the game. Also about anti-tank tab, I'm not sure what you are going against. We'll check that in the second. But you didn't bring 6 pounders. If you bring only 17 pounder, I don't really know uh, what division you should be against that you go only 17 pounders. I think there is no such division in the game. Division like that doesn't really exist. Like maybe 84 or something like that you have only IS2s and like only one card of T34s, but still 6 pounder is very good piece of equipment. 12 rate of fire, 115 millimeters of penetration. Leaving them in deck, not taking any single one, even taking Achilles instead of a Tigan when you have so many mobile forces already, and Fireflies is a bit weird choice. Speaking of what I want to say. Speaking of infantry, you bring 2 C-face cards of infantry. I understand why you are bringing them because you're playing balanced deck, but again, this deck is so thin on infantry, and I understand that with this deck maybe you don't push with your infantry, okay, but you need more infantry to hold the front line, to reinforce the position or like refill slots you lost your infantry, and to spot for you, because without infantry your tanks are dead. And when you consider you have 8 kilometers on front line and you have only 12 squads in A, it means that uh, how much you need to have like one squad per 600 meters. That's pretty rough considering that you will be losing your infantry squads during the combat.
Yeah,
Not sh-
exactly. Like I say, is first I think that we talked about vetting infantry before. This is the one division you can't really vet because you can't afford the availability loss because you have an issue. And also, this division, I think there's one issue I would say with it, like that's a bit of a blunder. Otherwise, it's not too bad. Other
One
than the vet,
second.
it's you
Going
don't
to
have any
refill.
AA in A.
Going to refill my water, and please, talk to chat for a minute.
Yeah. So what I feel here is then what I was going to say is that he doesn't have an AA in A. Crusader AA, it's just it doesn't do the job. Like yeah, you might be able to stop a plane like hovering, like a recon plane hovering above you, giving you vision, but it's not going to stop you from like stop enemy bombing runs and stuff. It's usually actually I think the Crusader AA is a good infantry support rather, because of it's an armored gun with like a high rate of fire HE weapon, but then you have 3 cards in B of AA, so I think that's is where you're gonna struggle, and like Frablord is saying in the chat, I think it also the air tab is a bit off. Like, even though you don't get a lot of air in the air tab, just Western air power is so good, so you really want to max out on it. So for myself, it's just like you say, like you want to take that fighter of Spitfire. Spitfire is a very good playing. I have no idea why Spitfire is cheaper than the Messerschmitt for some reason in this game, but it's just amazing. And then you have like all the other Hurricane bombers as well, and like Mosquito, yeah, it's a heavier bomb load, but it's a worse bomber. So I can see some players might like it, but yes, in the end, and also you really want to utilize that. And I think that's the cost of really filling out the tank tab. I don't think you need to fill out the tank tab as hard as you do, and instead you could get some more than in the air, like another card in the air tab instead of the tank tab. I think would be very good here.
Yeah, so one of the weirdest decks so far we've seen, pretty unusual choice. If you, Jacob, watch the replay of the or cast of this game, I suggest moving more into Vanguard deployment and adjusting your deck a bit with Pancerna. The deck of Spam, we need to check the deck of Spam, and the deck of Spam is, wait, it's Panzer Lehr, also balanced.
Oh, so that first time we see double balance then. It's going to be interesting. Because so far, one player has always been playing Vanguard. Which is understandable because, as we said, it's the one we would recommend in general.
So, it looks like it can be a very long game because none of the parties have enough like pushing power in A, considering that both parties have less than 12 infantry squads in A phase.
And yeah, one thing I would say is that here I would say that we see some issues. I wouldn't say they're huge, but I would say we see issues. One thing is it's the first time I think I see a full recon tab.
That's true. I didn't even realize, and that's full recon tab, not using 3 cards of very good recon vehicles you have still in the deck. Alright, I think that using Sp4mPz, or however you pronounce this recon 35 point squad, in favor rather than SPWs or Puma. Puma itself is very good piece of equipment, very fast, hard hitting, decent rate of fire. This is very like SPW 234 is very very good anti-infantry tool, and we know that he doesn't have a lot of infantry. Also about the AA, what really bothers me is why he brings Flak 41 with one vet. Flak 41 are pieces of, so basically double purpose guns, AA and AT, so 88mm, 85mm for Russians. You don't upvet them in the deck because usually you lose too much. You lose basically half. Yeah, you lose half of them. And also in this matchup, they will be very, very good because they are very potent AT guns. This Flak 41 is able to kill any single tank which Jacob can bring in first Pancerna, so Fireflies and Shermans and Cromwells. So yeah, maybe even a bit of overinvestment in AA, because this Flak 41 unvetted would be more than good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the same, like, because you really fill out that recon tab that you don't need like a spare troop, I think it's straight up like a bad unit. If you want the cheap recon, you just take the Aufklärer. That's where you're losing out on the anti-tank and some support stuff that you could use that. And also, just taking a leader in the artillery tab. And I do not recommend Vesps. I would just take a Hummel instead, because Vesps are using the 75mm, and the 75mm is not good at all currently in this game.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious about the Vespa Pig, especially with the veterancy.
Oh, 105mm is what I meant.
Yeah. So two decks pretty unusual. We don't see a commandant for Panzerler. We don't even see that extensive amount of tanks. Uh, okay, he has several cards, but considering that he brought
Yeah,
Panzer Free Leader and Panzer Free card, to be honest, Panzer Free could be useless in this matchup.
yeah, and exactly. Panzer Frees are very bad in this matchup, and he has 4 unused cards of Panzer Fours. That's like, if you play this game, you could take just the Panzer IV and the Panzer IV leaders, and like don't even touch the Tigers or the Panzer Frees in this
By the
matchup.
way, a lot are you? Do you have some talking issues, or you need to be very very quiet because even I can hear you quiet, and Chad is saying that they hear you even more quiet.
I'm sorry, it's living in Japan, so my neighbors is banging on the wall because I'm too loud.
All right, all right. You know that the game between Shervy and Marcos were so good that I would bang on the wall too. No worries. All right, so this is pretty unusual matchup, unusual choices for sure. Spam, never vet your flag 41s. Vet them if you really need with leaders on the ground. In my opinion, it's still not needed because flag 41 job is not to kill planes, it's to suppress planes. And for killing, you have already SDKFZ and Wilburwind. So let's go into the game. Where is my no spoiler scene? Damn it, boys! My girlfriend interrupting me. Neighbor of Alot interrupting them. There is not easy life for casters, you know? Not easy life for casters. Oh man. So what would you favor? Because we have two balanced players. Balanced Pancerna against balanced Lehr. Who do you think, like considering that this game can drag to 40 minutes or like 35 minutes, something like that, who has better upper hand in the long game, in your opinion, boys?
I would say there because you like, as we said, like you're gonna run out with infantry so much easier with the allies on this side, and also not just that is that you, like, even if you don't run out of infantry, like, and you start spamming Shermans, but he has Panthers and like Tigers that are still, several of them like can deal with them. So it might come up to, players like air might be quite important then if it goes the long, because both have this, even if they have a bit weird air tab in their decks, both Lair has a strong some strong access air, while we see Pancerna has a strong allied air. So it seems like 5 minute mark is where we start.
Okay, 5 minute mark. I'm almost done. Let me wait a second. 57, 58. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Right.
I'm hiding the panel. I'm unspoiling the scene. So, guys, on the left we have Jacob as first Pancerna balanced. On the right, on blue, we have Spam as Panzer Lehr. Pretty weird decks, but I think at this map, Shermans won't be that great. Maybe Shermans can win you the town, can win you again the hill, and losing this hill is very very painful for either of the sides. But on the other hand, on the bottom, or on the south from my perspective, so the blue side on the right, Panthers can stop Fireflies at this range. Because Firefly has very potent gun, but it doesn't have that huge frontal armor, of course. We know that Jacob has a bunch of 17 pounders. Maybe that's why he went on this map for 17 pounders, but I still think that bringing no 6 pounders is a mistake in the deck building phase.
Yeah, and we see here, like we said, like I think that the Shermans, like you said, in the south they can be useful. But I think that that's if spam allows them, because if spam uses the sides of the city being up on the hill and also on the side of the city, he should be able to get sightlines to have favorable trades with the Shermans. But if he tries to fight the Shermans inside the city or up on the hill, that the Shermans and the Commonwealths are gonna be back in the in position of power strength.
Yeah, and 17 pounder getting first victim, it's pack 40, so pretty costly. From what we can see, that Jacob is playing a bit more meta with a bit of defensive deployment in the bottom and a lot of forces actually coming from the spam. Uh, this is weird. Both players are playing balanced, so it looked like from the start that both will go for the long game. I didn't take a look on how long the game actually is, so we are going blind. But like there is no offensive movement whatsoever, guys. This is not going to be that amazing game as previous one. We'll see turtling and a lot of it.
Yeah, and as we can see here, like, oh, it's yeah, this is a different level, but it hopefully like these players can also watch last game and this game and learn a lot, because there's a lot of potential here. So one thing we see here in the south is that usually the south is a very big fight because this is linked to the last map. This is, as you can some players might know or probably have noticed, is that several of the maps are cutting over into each other. So this map is just like last map, very important, because if blue pushes red off the very southern edge here, the red has a very hard to take it back.
Yeah. So this basically what I said, that this is all of this what you see, it's part of bigger map, 4v4 map, and Slusk is one of the maps who has several parts cut off. Well, a lot. To be honest, it looks like the both sides are preparing for very long game. Nothing really happens. Infantry reinforcements, AI reinforcements, some leaders going back, no movement whatsoever from any player. There is like small spam movement with infantry. That's a good thing. He already managed to do 300 meters. This is what's happening this game, boys. I think that Cromwell and Stewart opening in the middle can surprise Spam a bit, because there is no AT infantry, so they can move and he can actually take the ground, even the flags here. Maybe he will manage even to cut off this Pioneer completely.
Yeah, and we see, I don't know where all the force are. Like, both sides look so thin, especially blue looks very spread out of it. Like, he has so much invested. I think we see that Spam isn't really used to the map because he's invested a lot in the north town. Like, there's some wanky place where they try to go for it, but this is not really the thing you get to prevent that. And he gets a lot of recon here. I feel might be more, like we said, seen in some other games, like there might be a bit more used to the team play where they don't really have to push. They can more like sit back, build up their forces, build up RT and all that, and not really used to doing so much frontline fighting until you have a big blob where you're just like attacking.
Yeah. Suppressed infantry, to be honest, I think that if at this moment Jacob would start pushing, brought some Shermans, he could easily break through the forces of Spam. I think that Spam is a bit newer player, because even with balanced, you cannot really afford, like dotting one Pioneer here and there. This is usually what costs you the game. Why? Because again, enemy will have local superiority, and one Pioneer will lose against double vetted Strelcy if there is like more of them. So you'll lose your squads, and retaking them when enemy already has advantage in numbers there is even harder.
Exactly. It's like you say, like if you spread yourself so thin, you're just gonna lose everywhere instead of losing at some places and winning at some places.
Okay, let me adjust no spoiler a bit, because I think we should go at least for a moment for speed 2 as not wait, I cannot, I need to move it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is going a bit slow, so let's move to speed 2 and see how the players are managing. We finally see in the bottom some offensive maneuver from Jacob. He brought Shermans firing P4s. I think that in this case Shermans will have upper hand. early airplay from Spam. I don't really like this rocket planes usage on tanks. Usually you use your rocket planes to kill 17 pounders or 6 pounders in that matchup.
Yeah, exactly. I think he did right before that. Before the Fortic, he got in a bunch of P4s and a flak, and I think that's a good. He needs some infantry in the middle town because, like you say, he doesn't have a front line, and he's at least doing the right. That he's bringing the Panzer force in groups, so they're not acting alone. So whenever they meet enemy tanks, they at least are two against one, hopefully then. And this flak also is super far back. It needs to be further up to the front line because if AA is too far back, usually your opponent will be able to get the bombs off and fly off unscathed. Yes, you will pin it, but you will pin it too late.
Yeah, I think that a bit sloppy micro from Jacob. I said that he had very good idea with pushing two Streltsy squad with a leader. Although he face checked with a leader into pioneers, you should always like lag your leader a bit in the back, so it still provides the aura but doesn't take bullets itself. Still temporarily taking flag for Jacob. In the meantime, Jacob taking more flags in the middle, so 13, 11, and should at least for a couple of minutes. A big train of Panzer Freeze, but I'm not sure if Panzer Freeze can do anything against Shermans at max range. So those are basically points thrown to nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing that you can use your Panzer Freeze in this matchup is being ablative armor for your Panzer Force, pretty much. And that's not even gonna work because in this game, how it works is that if a tank comes up against multiple enemy with armor, it will shoot with whichever armor has the most front armor or most armor it's currently shooting at. So it will not shoot at the Panzer Freeze; it would shoot at the Panzer Force. While the Panzer Freeze won't do anything. Like you can see here, there's so many of them, and they're barely putting on any stress on the Sherman. The Sherman just picks them off one by one.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, a bit understanding that you need to like. I think that's what Spam needs some experience in, like understanding the tank combat in like the different levels. Like Panzer Freeze, they're not meant to fight tanks. They're meant to be cheap infantry support. Like the only tanks that they can fight is like T-26s.
Yeah, and maybe some recon cars like SPWs or that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, they're good against recon cars.
Another thing which is a mistake from Spam is that even if he brings so much of the Panzer Freeze, he should move them all at once, not engage one by one to enemy Sherman, because it's going to end very, very poorly for you.
Yeah. Now he's at least bringing in the Tiger, but unfortunately the Achilles dies. I'm not Achilles is something you usually bring it because he needs, but I'm not a fan of it. It's not. It feels like it rarely performs for me.
Yeah, so you can see, guys, that both guys are pretty new to the game. Why? Because what's usually hard to recognize for newer players when they join the game and they learn the game is that you shouldn't fight absolutely every engagement you have around. Like there will be certainly they can be and there will be an engagement you cannot win. There is not a single way you will win with Sherman against Tiger on 2 kilometers from the front, even if you have two Shermans. Maybe you will stress him if you're lucky, but most of the time what happens is that Tiger is killing you. The same is happening even further for IS-2s or King Tigers. So you should learn not to fight every engagement you have. What do? You have infantry superiority, you have Piats, just hide behind the building with your Shermans and wait for enemy to move closer with his Tigers and other tank. Maybe he'll make mistakes, maybe he'll be reckless, and it looks like Spam is a bit reckless. Maybe even he will lose this Tiger to Streltsy Piat in a second.
Yeah, it's exactly like it's like you say, like it's important to understand which fights are not good for you, and then pulling that, and then just using the reverse on your tank and just pulling back, waiting until a better opportune moment. And now at least the Panzer Freeze are doing more what they're supposed to, like trying to attack the Streltsys in the city, while the Tiger and the Panther is doing work on the other tanks.
Yep. Firefly in the CQC combat, I'm not really a fan of it. especially on normal move, but yeah, it looks like he's really angry on the tiger. Oh, and he killed the tiger. Okay. A bit lucky engagement from Jacob, to be honest. Unpunished for pretty reckless behavior.
But one thing I do feel here is that one thing at least like which I should give Spam some credit for is that often what you don't see is people like redirecting forces. Spam didn't see any enemies in the north, so at least got 2 of the recon cars, armored cars, and moved them more to the south where he's currently leads on defenses. We're putting up this MG defense. The MGs are gonna be okay at defending this area, but he needs some infantry to actually push back.
Yep. And from 14-10, it's going back to 12-12. It looks like both players are going kind of for the long game. I think that recent trades were not in favor of the Jacob, and we can see already 3 AA pieces from Spark. I think that those are only Flag 41s he has in the deck, because again he brings 3 cards of Flag 41s with 1 vet in A. That's pretty weird indeed. But these Flag 41s will stop any Shermans popping around, at least for unless like he brings 10 of them or at least 5 of them.
And here we see again, like in the middle, there's a Cromwell swarm versus Tigers. What you don't need to do is that you don't want to move up and stand still and fighting. What you need to do is you want to keep your Cromwells moving. You want to like move them up into like the face of the tiger. If you're like 6 Cromwells versus a tiger and a panther, because some of them will then get the side shots, and that is how you win that engagement. Like that was actually something he did now. He moved the Cromwells to the side, and he managed to get the side shot on the tiger, which was a nice move by Jacob.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you should do. Do not pick engagement you cannot win. But still, I think that Jacob is slowly losing the trades. Okay, he killed 1 tiger, but he lost 5 Cromwells in the meantime. And there is more tigers coming, and we know that Pancerna can field at least, I don't know, like...
roughly between a shit ton and a crap load of tigers.
Yes, I think that he will have, like, in tigers and panthers in combined, they will have like at least 12 more. And you don't have 60 more Cromwells in your deck.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think as soon as we're getting to later phases, because that's the thing, is like he's using a lot of fireflies, and the fireflies are, you don't get a lot of them, so they're gonna run out.
And we see Cease Order from Jacob. That's second game I see Cease Order in the Greenhorn tournament. I think that if you have spare micro awareness, you shouldn't ever use Cease Order, because your manual order or simple Q move will do the same or better. And like really, most of the time there is no reason to go for Cease Order at all. But 13-11, flag snatched by the Panther. It is blind, it can go easily to, and it goes to Firefly. So we are going back to 12. No, not yet, but we'll soon go to 12-12.
And I think for these people to learn, I think the first, there's some, basics of like 1v1 that they need to get into. And I think that one good thing is like both watching this game, but also the other games were cast, not just these, but actual games played by the league and like the professionals. So you get a better understanding of like which unit and which engagements are usually used. And also then like just like hanging out in the Discord server, playing like streaming your own games while you play, and then people can help you like comment. I think that's one of the really good ways how to improve. And because here we can see, oh wow, Spam must have been hovering a lot of points, because look at that, he's bringing in 5 Panthers in one tick. With
Spam, if we can give you a suggestion, don't hold your points. You need to be a bit more curious about where your tanks are going, because you're driving second Panther directly to the town. Bringing almost 1k points in single tick usually is not good unless it's 60 minutes of the game and you are saving for the final push. Also about Jacob, for your infantry combat, you blobbed a bit, and in general we thought that local superiority is important, so having more squads firing than enemy has, and that's good for blobbing. But on the other hand, if you just spread them a bit, like 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, instead of one bomber killing 5 of your squads, maybe you will lose 2. So try to have a bit more of micro around with your infantry. That will help massively. And the oh my god, the tank train in the middle, just keep moving forward.
And look, there's nothing but tanks. There's not a single infantry in the city. It's just tanks.
Damn it,
And I
boys.
think that's one of the reasons why actually it helps Jacob, because even though, and here we see Jacob is one thing that he's good to know. He's getting a pincer maneuver here. He gets attacking the Panthers from 2 directions. That's really making the Panthers struggle, because Panthers have horrible side armor, and that's why they're very bad at pushing. You don't want Panthers pushing, because then they easily get caught off guard, get shot in the side, and then they just get instantly deleted.
Yeah, I think like previous game we have seen was pretty top level. I would say like Division 2 or Division 3 would be that gameplay. But this game, these players, we can see that they are new, and that's very good that they sign up for tournament. They get first experience. They will learn that trains of seven Panthers in a row usually do not work. They will also learn that to not blob infantry and a lot of other stuff. So good to have you guys here. I'm actually amazed that this blob of Panthers is slowly making breakthrough through the middle town.
Yeah, exactly. It's but the only reason that some of them died was because they got pincer maneuvered, which was good. Like if you look at that very center, like it's like just a line of wreckage, like tank wreckage. It's so many tank wreckages. Quite amazing. But that's the one thing that surprises me, is that Jacob has a lot more infantry on the map, even though that Spam has much more infantry in the deck, and it's the more infantry-heavy deck even.
Yeah, I calculated roughly, and this middle town with like suburbs, there is like 2,700, if I calculate correctly, tanks dead in the wreckages. Holy shit.
Yeah, Frambor says something very interesting. It's nice that these get to play against each other, so they didn't play like with one of the next one, because then we get to see when they don't, like when there isn't like a huge gap, how they play each other, and then I think it also helps us teach like them a bit more, because then we get to see more of how they play, because other games they might just get instantly deleted, so there's not much to evaluate other than the early play. But here we get more of what is it like. We see another Panther train in the north now with a verbal wind leading the charge, getting the first one in the front.
Yeah, the most exciting fear for me is that they both play in such chaotic way. I have no clue who is going to win. Maybe, in my opinion, in newbie games, armor advantage is a factor, especially in longer games.
Yeah, exactly. It's who has the most heavy armor, pretty much, I think, is my guess. But here we can see, man, I'm surprised how many fireflies Jacob is able to bring in. I must have missed. But I think that's the thing, is like both players, also they need to understand a bit more about they want the mix of armor and infantry, and also you don't want the Panthers to go, if you have infantry pushing up before, they get to spot, and then you can move your Panthers to make sure that you only get shot in the front, because like your 2 Panther trains was such a huge incoming sink, and you've lost them because you get pincer moved, you get attacked from 2 sides, and then you lose a lot of Panthers unnecessarily.
Yep, I completely agree. It's even weird for me to see this off map, which was phase A card going into phase C, 37-minute dropping. The position was good. We'll see if it kills something. Oh man.
It's the 140, so it's just enough to deal damage, I feel. But and especially the Panthers are weak to off maps, because if each HE that hits the side deals a decent chunk of the Panthers' health.
To be honest, I will be envious to this guy, because look, they just fast hunting, quick hunting units around, and they are having fun. I want to do that. I want to do that, and I don't want to be called like in Division 2 you cannot do this.
Yeah.
Damn it. But
Meantime, his Panthers are, like we can see, they're always trying to push spawn, and that's they don't have the AA cover. The verbal wind didn't follow for some reason; it's hanging back, and that makes it so that that you can just bomb them to death, which is what is happening now. And now several Shermans are coming up, and it's not a happy story for the Panther train.
I mean, Panther took 2 or 3 Shermans. I'm not sure. Yeah, he took 2 Shermans, so.
And here you see now Spam is actually bringing in some infantry in the middle, and that's very good because now he's taking the. And if he just hides the infantry in the city here, it's like a free flag he can just hold. But he needs more tanks, and I feel like because his Panther trains, he's probably running out of the better armor.
Yeah, no more Panther trains, it looks like.
He's bringing in more flak 88s now in the back, and some Vesps. The Vesps aren't shooting, so that's something. And Vesps, like I said, like it's 105 millimeter. For Axis is such a crappy gun, so I don't recommend it at all. And these 88s, they don't protect anything. Like usually, like a flak 88, maybe if you're lucky, they can protect like 1K up in front of them. It depends on what you're up against, but like right now, it's 2 kilometers in front are the things that they need to protect. So it's not going to do much at all. Like these flags are protecting nothing but the Vesps in the back. While you have 2 SDKFZ doing the issue of hiding behind the tree, so they're not going to be able to fire until it's too late.
Yeah. To be honest, I really enjoy, like casually just, buying several things, pushing them in the area. In the meantime, they forget about the stuff they have on the other part of the time. I think that the guys have very, very good time. Also, I said I think we are kind of victims a lot because we mentioned that concentration of force is the number, or at least the name of the game. And buying 7 Panthers is indeed concentration of force. Can't you say?
You don't want things hovering though, and that's the thing is like we talked about. You want combined arms. Like he just sent in 7 Panthers without infantry support, so they got decimated. Now he's sending in like 10 infantry squad without any tanks, so this single Sherman up ahead is going to be able to single-handedly just hold off all of these. Unless the Sherman runs up and tries to eat a Panzerfaust in the face, that is.
Or gets bombed by Luftwaffe because Luftwaffe has clear skies today, it looks like.
I feel like Jacobs is doing the better job with AA. He has at least places his AA in a better spot. Like he brings them up further up, so they're actually like helping when he has them. And yet again, now he lost the Panzer IV on the hill in the south to a Piat because first whenever you push, especially into cities and forests, you have infantry go up first before you bring your tank in, just so you don't risk it getting killed by an infantry 80.
Oh man, effective strike from Mosquito.
Oh, wow. So yes, you want to blob your infantry, but just like TTC said earlier, you want them spread out a bit so like not a single pioneer can hit 3 squads with one of their satchel charges, or like now a bomber can just instantly delete your entire push. And now he's trying to push the Sherman with his SDK sets, these half tracks. I think that's the thing, is like you need to see what the enemy has, and then you need to pick out of your tools and attack with that. It feels like just now both of them are just clicking the attack move with everything they have in the middle. Oh, there's a Sherman. I'll just attack move with all of my SDK set against the Sherman.
To be honest, it's like one of the most casual game I've seen, but like I genuinely like enjoy it. Like I see just stuff dying, things exploding.
We're watching a 10v10, but with only one player on each side. It feels like. And also one thing I think that is lucky for Jacob is that I think if the Fokker Wolves on Spam's side wouldn't have been Rocket Fokker Wolves, but actually the good bombers, it would have been such a bigger deal, because those Rocket Fokker Wolves don't really deal the damage that a bomber could deal.
Yep, we see first artillery battery from Jacob. He wants to repay the debts for Vespe, already running out of ammo, but shooting for 15 minutes already. So still 12-12. Just reminder for people watching, we are on double the speed. Because we decided earlier that for first 20 minutes, literally nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. I would say it would have been, it's a fun cast, but I think it wouldn't have been as fun if we did this in the normal speed.
Yeah, I was like, for a second I
freeing
was a bit concerned why mosquitoes are so fast, but right now I reminded myself that we are on double the speed.
Yeah,
Oh man.
this is a crazy.
So, in your opinion, Naot, at this point in the game, who is your favorite?
I honestly, I think it's just gonna be like whoever one is gonna run out, and that's the one's gonna win.
I love recon trains from both sides. Sp4mPz BMWs from Spam and Morris from Jacob. 15 minutes recon trains. I love you, boys.
And actually, my guess is on Jacobs, because
Spam.
it seems like Spam is out of tanks, and I feel like no, it's probably Spam though, because if both of them run out of tanks, it's gonna very quickly turn to Spam, and Spam has more air rather than Jacobs have.
Yeah, I think that R will decide and R will give the huge blow. But if Jacob decided to push on the hill like for 30 minutes already, he would cut completely the hill and two flanks.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I
man.
think one thing that the players haven't done is that they haven't focused on flags. They've just been attack moving the things forward. Often, if you get like a good push, like we said, if you don't see enemies up ahead, you can push onwards. But here, sometimes you can't push onwards, and then what you try to do is you just try to bring 80 guns and reinforce the flags you've taken, and then just run the clock out. But here, it just feels like they get the flags. It feels like neither of these players are like really bothering about the flags. They're just trying to rush their things in and kill as much enemies as they can. Because this sudden train now might overwhelm.
Yeah, the train is real, boys. But there is like a giant line of packs. This is gone.
Yeah, and the flak 88 as well. Oh yeah, and this is the thing we talked about before. This is not an engagement you have any chance to win. There's several pack 40s and a flak 88. You're not going to deal with it, so you should just disengage. I don't know what exactly because he seems like he's reversing forward into it. Because yeah, now he lost like 6-8 tanks here, not doing anything.
Well, but he's losing stuff, but it's still 15-9 for Jacob and 6 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, and Jacob stopped the artillery stopped shooting. Yeah, it looks actually like Jacob's gonna take it, because I think the main issue was that when Spam went for Panthers and Tigers, and you don't get a lot of them, and he went with the train just suiciding them forward. Hence, they didn't do well. Like after he suicided them forward, he invested a lot. Like he has like 16 20mm cannons on these four, like the variable wind escapes in the north, but there's not a single plane in the north. He needs to redirect this anti-air forces to the south without getting attacked by the Shermans.
I like opportunistic mindset from Spam. Look, this is the good spirit. He's like a good base. He knows that he lost completely the south, so he just Q moves everything in the other end because he expects an enemy to have, like a weak spot, and he managed to get to 13-11.
Yeah.
Oh man. And it will be 12-12 in a second as soon as this bridge flag falls.
It seems like Jacob's running low as well, because now he's just spamming both forces. Either that he's running low, or he's just getting tired of those Fokker Wolves, because he has like a blob of 3. This is where, like, if you get a leader there, it would be such a difference. Like having one veterancy on 3 bow forces, that instead of just unvetted freebow forces, that's going to be a big difference. And one more thing I think we can take the opportunity is when your opponent spams with several planes at a time, how the AA is going to work is they're going to attack one until it's pinned, then they're going to shoot at the next until it's pinned, and next. So it's not going to kill anyone, it's just going to try to pin as many as possible. So if that's what you want to do, that's you can do. But when you actually want to kill instead of just pin it, letting them pin, you should just use your A and click an attack move on one of them, and then they will just keep on shooting on one until it dies. And that way, instead of just pinning a lot of them and all of the enemy planes making it out alive, you at least kill a few of them for each round.
In the meantime, 2 SDKFZ are asserting dominance on 2 Shermans going to 14 for spam. Okay, it will go to 13-11 for Jacob in a second. Oh man, guys, this is actually back and forth game.
Yeah.
Guys, there is plenty to learn, but
I don't think he has anything left.
yeah.
But that's the thing is he it's not the first. He's before like waited bringing stuff in for a long time, but now I think it's been like 5 minutes of nothing. So I think that he's actually like fully out. And yet again, we see the verbal wind in the south. You don't want to bring them up without infantry, and now died to a piat.
Yep, this is going back and forth, and Cromwell Stab coming in 1 hour mark. Oh, guys.
I think that we see a supply. So I think the RT, like the Axis artillery, has stopped. I don't think they did anything because 105mm don't do anything. But at least these 25 pounders, they're gonna keep on pounding and they're gonna get resupplied. And they're coming 2 more 25 pounders. So I think it's looking very, very grim for Spam, even though he has the flag advantage.
Yep. I love to see Strelcy Piat on a move order killing flag 41. Oh no, they were actually suppressed in the time. So 12-12, guys. Chat, who is, in your opinion, winner of the game? I will slow the speed down. I will make a poll. New poll. Who is winner? Winner, is it Jacob or is it Spam? 1 minute, vote. The poll is up. Share your votes for 19 minutes on the clock, boys. You think it's a draw? Oh man, in my heart it's a draw. It's a draw too.
It's unfortunate that there's a supply truck, but it's not. It's only supplying one of the 5 pounders instead of the rest. Oh my god, it's a stress. He's gonna be able to maybe kill the pack 40s in the... No. But it's 2 of them. I don't think it's gonna... Oh yeah, there's fucking wolves coming in. There's still a Morris train in the south just hanging out.
Chat decided it's 3-3. Okay, some people contributed the points. I see. 13-11 full spam again. It looked like he has no units on the ground, but he has a lot of airplanes.
Yeah, exactly. He's using the Vesp right now to bring up the there's nothing that can, oh, there's a Sherman that can challenge him, but you need the Vesp to take that flag back.
Oh man. Oh man.
I think they're both out, and if they're both out of things, I think actually that might be very good for Spam because I think he has more airplanes available than Jacob.
I have like no idea whatsoever who is going to win.
I don't know what the Hurricanes are doing right now. Is he trying to like make the enemy run out of ammo? Because right now the middle flag is out of ammo. Oh, he was trying to bomb the one that's out of ammo, so the one that doesn't do anything. Oh, the Morris cars are on the move. They're maybe gonna try to assault. Oh, the Vesp goes down.
Yeah, the Vesp goes down, whole Morris train goes to one single pack. Artillery pounding, flag asserting dominance in the open. North is taken for the spawn. Yeah, Armata 17 pounder going down. Oh my god. That's like, we had two most crazy games I've seen. Like this first game between Marcos and Sherby, and now this one.
At least it's not a best of 3 hours.
This is best of one. So the winner of this game is going to the next phase. This is important match for both players, guys. Like if you are moving pack 40s to the front line with 4 HP shells, you know that you are desperate. You know that you are desperate. And Mappy is diagonal again.
Oh, Spam gets the double tick even. I think that's a miss here we see by Jacob. He's trying to bomb in the south, but that's not what he needs to bomb the north to take back, because that's a much shorter distance and his artillery needs to do stuff.
Oh my god. One single...
For Sp4mPz getting shot by like a full battery of 25 pounders. And I think that's the thing, is like, that's the right thing that actually Spam did that Jacobs didn't do, is that what Spam did is when he ran out of things, he sent his flak 88s and everything just to the front line, while Jacobs took much more longer, and he still has a lot of like bow force in the back that doesn't really do anything.
You know, this is basically inexperience, right? I think that at this moment Spam is going to lose. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would put my money on Spam.
Yeah.
And what I would do as Spam in this situation earlier, I would preserve as much forces as I can and just spam enemy with bombers. Oh no, supply trucks taking the flag. Oh no, it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
No.
That's what I wanted to say. Just like you, is that if I was Spam, I wouldn't need to push. If it's a 12-12, you would win by dragging it out and just bombing things to pieces. Enemy has a lot of AA. Okay, bomb everywhere else. It's just a decent amount of AA, then just plain train it.
What a desperation. Jacob, noticing that his very own supply truck was captured, he instantly bombs it with...
He gets rid of it before, because if that got back, he would be able to supply his flak 88, which is out of ammo.
Oh my god, boys.
If I was him, I would actually use one of this 25 pounder to try to take the flag that's slightly north. One mistake is that he's just flying his Hurricanes. I would still try to strafe with them, because they do still have a few 20mm cannons.
Yeah, especially that you see that, and he has seen it not only on foot, but also not seeing shells coming from flag 41s. They don't have ammo, so that's good thing to do. Guys, like, I think both players kill at least like 7k of units in the process. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's a match, boys.
Yep, a lot of casualties on both sides, which I need to see.
Yeah, I think it's over. It indeed is. Let's take a look at the kills. It was 2 for a nail. It was more than 1 hour long game. Like almost 7k kills for both players.
They're extremely close.
They're extremely close. I think it was probably fun for them. And that the Panther trains, the Morris trains, the Sherman trains, all kind of trades we have seen. We have seen Strzelcy shooting Pak 40s in the forest and losing against Pak 40. We like so many science done. We've seen that 7 Morris lose against single Pak 40. Guys, this is science. This is science game. This is science game. We should say thanks to Jacob and Spam. So summing up, guys, I had extreme fun watching this. So we were watching this on 2 and 3